It's December 1st, which means we're in the home stretch of the holiday season. Whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever holiday you celebrate, I think we can all agree that this is a season of giving. And giving doesn't just stop with the holidays. It's not just limited to December. But it's certainly a month that it it comes to mind. It's of mind for most of us because there's a lot of families and a lot of people out there that go without, and there's a lot of people that when I look at how blessed and how lucky I am and my family is, there are a lot of other families out there that certainly aren't in the same situation. Not that they're not blessed, but that they're really struggling to make ends meet. And I've had a couple of recent events in my life, people that I've come across that are struggling, that are dealing with grief and that are dealing with financial and life circumstances that I couldn't even imagine. And I think we all have people like that around us in our lives. So I certainly want to be mindful of that this holiday season and every holiday season. And really, I want that to carry over, for me anyway, into the rest of the year. And so when I think about giving, and I think a lot of us, and as a group, as a society, we're charitable. As people, human nature, we're charitable, and we think about charity and however it is that you give, whether you give your time, whether you give monetarily, whether you give inspirationally, whether you give by circling and sharing things on social media, you're still making an effort in giving, and certainly I want to applaud that, and we should all applaud that. But when I think about giving, there are certain things that I think about that maybe I overlook, and maybe we all overlook. Because the first on my list is always kids. Because I think of my own kids, and I think a lot of us think of our own kids, and we think of the ability that we have, some of us, to give our kids presents and to make sure that our kids have a good birthday, a good Christmas, a good holiday, to make sure that their needs are met, and there are kids out there whose needs aren't met. So there are certain things that I like to try to do every year when I give to kids above anything else, and I do have kids as first on my list. The first thing is I always give new. And I think about kids that are in school, whether they're in elementary school or middle school or high school. Hand-me-downs, certainly brother to brother or family to family, are something that we all need to get by. But when it comes to getting something or getting a gift, I like to make sure that I give kids new. And what I mean by new clothes, coats, hats, gloves, boots and shoes, certainly things that are overlooked. I want to make sure that, number one, we do donate those things when they are used, but when I'm giving a gift or when I'm giving to kids, I try to get new for them, because that new feeling, that new item feeling that child, that young man or young woman would have when they go to school is better than anything else that you can give them. It's that new out of the box or out of the package feeling. Something that gets overlooked when we give to kids: socks, undergarments. Certainly overlooked. We don't give used of those things. We give new. What I'm trying to instill in our household is that every time we buy socks and underwear, we buy enough to give them to someone else as well. Because that is the number one overlooked item. The number two overlooked item are toiletry items, personal care items, toothbrush, toothpaste, soap or body wash, shaving cream, razors, things that certain families can't afford those things, and you wouldn't give that used, right? So what I'm trying to think about is every time that I go to get those things, that I buy enough to give them to someone else as well. And that carries over, and those items carry over to men, whether they're homeless men or men in need, men's shelters. There's a men's shelter locally here in Rock County that I give to. And women, and when I say women, I also think about victims of domestic violence, and there is a group for women that are victims or recovering from domestic violence. When I give to adults, I don't always have to give new, and you don't always have to give new, but you have to think about, is it something that you would still wear or something that you would still use that you're going to give to them, whether it's a coat or a hat or gloves or boots or shoes or a top or leggings or whatever. Is it something that you would still use? Never give used underwear. Socks is another one of those things where I would just rather give new. You can certainly give new to adults, but adults are a little more willing to take something that's used out of need. Another thing that's overlooked, blankets and pillows. For domestic violence victims, bedding, household items, whether it's can openers or items from the kitchen, food storage items, Tupperware, those kind of things. Overlooked, very overlooked for those folks. I've actually given appliances to old appliances to victims of domestic violence or domestic assault, women that are trying to get back on their feet, trying to get out of an abusive relationship and get into their own home, that maybe financially aren't able to get to afford those things. I think of those people when I give those things rather than just sell them on Marketplace. The final group that I think also gets overlooked in a way that most people don't really think about it is local humane societies and local pet organizations. I know that we give to them monetarily. A lot of people give to them monetarily, and a lot of people donate dog food, but they also take towels. So your towels from home that maybe become tattered or worn, don't throw them away. I try to give those to the Humane Society so that they can use them in the care of their pets and clean up of their pets, and certainly pets can use them as blankets and other things as well. But that often goes overlooked, and those items often get thrown away. So just a few things to think about. I know this video ran a little bit long. As a society and as people, I know that we do give, and we give in the giving nature. Just some things that I think about when I purchase items. I'm going to buy extra underwear. I'm going to buy extra socks. When I see a deal on a pair of boots or a pair of shoes or whatnot, I try to take advantage of that deal and maybe buy extra so that I can give them to a kid or give them to an adult or somebody in need. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone out there, and I hope that we all share in the giving season, share joy this December. Take care, everyone.